Hello and welcome once again to the hard Brexit scenario on Football Manager 2020. It's part 10 as we see how the UK can fend for itself after leaving UEFA. Probably the EU as well. Don't know. Hasn't mentioned it on here, or haven't really been looking for it. Anyway, so last time out we saw all the big money transfers that had happened so far in that transfer window. What we're going to do on this video is we're going to see a few of the others. They're going to be cuts though. We're not going to just go through each one by one again, because there were a couple more big transfers that were quite interesting. Big money, including PSG signing Jordan Henderson. Oh no, wait, that's an offer. That's a done deal. Jordan Henderson joining PSG from Liverpool. Traitor. Anyway, but what we're going to do first is have a quick look at what's happening in the world. So we'll take a look at the Brexit Champions League to start with. We're about 4 games into the group stage already, because they play the first 4 or 5 matches at the start of the season. And apologies if it's a bit slow. My computer's a bit slow, but fingers crossed that'll change soon, because I'm getting a new one soon. Say that every time, don't I? So, Group A, we can see that Manchester United are leading the way in Group A ahead of Shrewsbury. You've got Watford in top of Group B. Group C, Spurs top, 4 wins out of 4. 4 easy wins, I'd say, for them. Crew top of Group D ahead of Norwich. I'm guessing the 2 teams drew there, 1-1. While Bristol City and Cardiff are the top 2 teams in Group E. Liverpool obviously top of Group F ahead of Ross County and Swindon. While in Group G, Reading and Plymouth are the top 2 teams there. Nottingham Forest lead Group H with 3 wins out of 3, with Luton in 2nd and Lincoln in 3rd. While in Group I, Bournemouth are top, 6 points clear of Motherwell in 2nd. Group J, that one's going to be a bit close at the top with Wolves and Swansea, but Wolves are pulling it off so far, winning 3 out of 3. Including 1 against Swansea, so it might not be that close. While Aberdeen are top of Group K ahead of Newcastle United. 4 matches played, 3 wins, 1 draw. The draw was with Newcastle though. And finally in Group L, Brighton top ahead of Blackburn. While in the Empire League, we have Chesterfield top of Group A, again ahead of Nuneaton and Portsmouth. Portsmouth only in 3rd there, with a loss to Chesterfield, I could see. Group B, Aston Villa top there, not too surprising, ahead of Crawley and Kettering. Or Group C, Blythe are ahead of Arsenal. They've both played the same games, but Arsenal have a draw with Exeter City. Now that's not going to go down well with Arsenal, because you have to finish top or be one of the best runners-up. 2 of the runners-up don't go through. So, oh dear, Arsenal, you're already falling back. You're doing an Arsenal. Man City, top of Group D. That one's not too surprising. Showing Arsenal how it's done, really. 3 wins out of 3. They've got a pretty easy group there, you have to admit. Group E, Southend, top of the group there, with Ayr and Stranraer in 2nd and 3rd. Group F, Cambridge United, top. Hamilton in 2nd, but Cambridge have played a game more, but they have the same points, 9 points each. Hamilton will probably go top with another win. Group G, Mansfield top, MK Dons 2nd, while Group H, Dundee United are 2 points clear of Scunthorpe United. Group I, St Mirren ahead of Rafe and TNS, while in Group J, Huddersfield are top of the group there, 6 points clear of Alloa, although they've played more games. Group K, Burnley top, 12 points. Macclesfield and Leicester are the 2 teams behind them. While in Group L, Sunderland are top, 10 points at the top. Stevenage in 2nd with 7. Group M, Heart of Midlothian, 3 points clear of Forest Green. While in Group N, Celtic are the obvious choice to win that group. They've got 9 points, 3 wins out of 3. In Group O, Everton are top. North Village Rams in 2nd, Portadown in 3rd. Everton have a very easy group in this one. While in Group P, Burton Albion joint top, with Linfield only leading on goal difference. While in Group Q, Inverness Caledonian Thistle are top, with Larne and Gala Ferrydean Rovers behind. Inverness have a pretty easy group as well, I'd say. So those are those ones. and we can have a look at the group stage draws for the European competitions. Yay! And we can see. So, if we can see the draws here. Group A, Salzburg, Lyon, Sheriff Tiraspol of Moldova and Craiova of Romania. Group B, Monaco, Barcelona, Porto and Sarajevo. That's a hard group, but there's a hard one coming up, I believe. In Group C, Eintracht Frankfurt, Galatasaray, Oostende of Belgium and Real Madrid. While in Group D, Ajax, Inter Milan, Panathinaikos and Victoria Plzen. Group E, Borussia Dortmund, Fehervar of Hungary, Napoli and Benfica. And here's the Group of Death. CSKA Moscow, Bayern Munich, Paris Saint-Germain and Juventus are in Group F. Group G, Dynamo Kiev, Skendia of Northern Macedonia. Or North Macedonia, almost got it wrong there. Spartak Moscow and Tavria of Crimea have made the group stage of the Champions League. While finally in Group H, Club Brugge, Gandzazar of Armenia, Real Sociedad and TSG Offenheim. So that is your Champions League draw. What about the Europa League? And we can see there FC Lahti of Finland, Ferencváros of Hungary, Olympia of Slovenia with Valencia. While in Group B, Krasnodar, Milan, Alexandria and Zurich. Group C, Angers, Dynamo Zagreb, Lokomotiv Moscow and Sparta Prague. Group D, Austria Vienna, Lazio, PAOK and Schalke 04. Group E, Bordeaux, Malmo, Standard Liège and Zenit St. Petersburg. Group F, we've got Bayer Leverkusen, Viitorul of Romania, Heerenveen and Shakhtar Donetsk. Group G, Besiktas, Radniki of Serbia, Roma and Freiburg. Roma the holders there. They've got I'd say a sensible draw. I think they can make it through. And finally in Group H, Borek Banja Luka of Bosnia and Herzegovina, CSKA Sofia, Olympiacos and Ozhetepes. I don't know how to pronounce that one, but they're from Kazakhstan. And finally in the third tier of European football, the Europa Conference League or Euro Cup 2, call it what you will. Group A, Astra effing Gugu, there's West Ham fans call them, Bohemians, Sumkayat of Azerbaijan and Zeta of Montenegro. Maccabi Netanya, Milsami Orhai, Trans and Trinsin are in Group B. Group C, Espanyol, Flamurturi, Paid LM of Estonia and Zimbru Chisinau. While in Group D, Asteras Tripolis, FC Nantes, Konyaspor and St. Gallen. Group E, Bohemians 1905 of the Czech Republic, Cherno More of Bulgaria, Djurgardens of Sweden and Rostov of Russia. Group F, AEL Limassol, Anderlecht, Ro PS and Vitoria Guimarães. Group G, Cork City, Fiorentina, Werder Bremen, Tobol of Kazakhstan. And in Group H, Inter Turku, LASK of Austria, Lokomotiva of Croatia and Zrinski Mostar of Bosnia. And so there are all your groups in the European competitions. One of them can't be retained. Juventus can retain the Champions League, Roma can retain the Europa League, but Inter Milan are not in this competition. Instead, they've been the Italian team playing in this one are Fiorentina. So we could see another Italian team dominate Europe once again. So we'll take a look at the start of the English leagues. Actually, let's check Glasgow first to see if Celtic and Rangers have even played a game yet, because they got very delayed at the on the last one. They have played games, but they've played less than the rest. 2 games less. So we're probably not going to see them top of the league anytime soon. If it's anything like last season, where they had to play like about 20 games in the last 2 weeks, just to make up with everything. But it could be an interesting season for them. Did any of them make signings? Before we do anything, Celtic lost a few players. They signed Sydney from Real Hispalis, or Betis as it's better known as, Victor Wanyama from Leicester, and Ivan Cavallero from Wolves, Cresswell and Dye. Rangers signed Leo Bonatini from Wolves. So Wolves are a hunting ground for the Glaswegian teams. Dimitri Foulquier, Stuart Finley, they've made some decent some signings. Partick Thistle even got one from Celtic, in fact. So there we go. We'll have a look at the English leagues, see how they're going before we take a trip to the interesting transfers land. These ones may be straightforward to start with, as we saw from the transfers in the last one. Some of these teams bought entirely new squads, pretty much. So top of the Bedfordshire Premier Division, Luton, joint top though with 4 other teams. So nothing's decided just yet. Reading joint top with Maidenhead leading on goal difference in Berkshire. In Bristol and Gloucestershire, Bristol City top by 2 points ahead of Cheltenham. But there's only 4 games played, and we're just having a brief look here. MK Dons top of Buckinghamshire, while in Cambridgeshire, Cambridge are top. Peterborough all the way down in 4th, but they've played a game less and will be equal with the rest of them once they've played it, assuming they win, of course. While in Cheshire, Chester are top, joint with Whitton and Crewe, but top on goal difference by 1 goal. In Cornwall, Truro already leading the way, only a point so far, but that could build into about 40 by the end of the season, if last season's anything to go by anyway. While in Cumbria, Barrow are top, 3 points clear of Carlisle. Carlisle have already lost a game to Barrow. Barrow have set their sights on the title this season, it seems. Over to Derbyshire, and Derby are top. It's probably going to be a straightforward season for them, apparently. While in Devon, Exeter and Plymouth both top the league. Exeter top on goal difference by 5 goals. Tiverton, they've already planted the seeds of wanting to try and get that runners-up spot again. In Dorset, Bournemouth, Poole, Wimboyne, all on 12 points, with 4 goals separating the top 2, and then 4 goals separating 2 from 3. In Durham, Stockton are top, and they've got a game in hand over West Auckland, and Spennymoor in 3rd with 8 points. The Darlington and Hartlepool, the 2 bigger teams, they've also got a game in hand, and they're a point behind, but I'm guessing they've played each other. No, they've just had draws with other teams. In Essex, Southend top of the league on 12 points, 4 wins out of 4. Colchester all the way down in 5th place because they lost to Southend. But that's still the same points. They're only 3 points behind. Nothing's decided yet. Greater London, how's this one looking? Chelsea, Arsenal, Fulham, all with 100% records. Tottenham 4th with 10 out of 12 points, only drawing with Sutton United. That's not a good result for Spurs. West Ham also in there and thereabouts, and QPR and Palace. The Greater London Premier Division is always quite tight. See how the promoted teams are doing. Met Police, they got promoted via the playoffs, I believe. Lost every game so far. Any big results? No. Kingstonian and Wealdstone are the other teams that went up, and they're both not doing too well. Well, Wealdstone have won a game against Met Police though, so nothing too impressive. Leyton Orient, bottom of the league, but that's only on goal difference. Greater Manchester, that's got a familiar look to it, hasn't it? Manchester United and Manchester City are the top 2, both with pretty much identical records. The only difference is Manchester United have scored 1 goal more. Both have conceded as well, to Wigan and Altrincham respectively. Looking at that, Bury not doing too well. No wonder they sacked David Moyes. Was it Moyes? I think so. In Hampshire and the Isle of Wight, Portsmouth top, joint with Havant and Waterlooville, but 2 goals ahead. In Herefordshire, Hereford already 6 points clear at the top, and if it's anything like last season, they're probably gonna breeze ahead. Didn't spend too much there, so it could change. You never know. In Hertfordshire, Watford top, Stevenage second, goal difference separates them. In Kent, Dover top, Gillingham second, goal difference separates them. In Lancashire, Burnley 3 points clear of Blackburn and Morecambe to keep top spot in that one. They want revenge on Blackburn after last season's 2nd place and Blackburn winning the title. Leicestershire and Rutland, Leicester are not top just yet, but that's only because they've got a game in hand over Barwell. Leicester's results, have they been as big as last season's? Yes, 6-0 win over Quorn there. In Lincolnshire, Scunthorpe top with 12 points, Grimsby second on 10, Lincoln third on 9, Deeping in fourth also with 9, but a terrible goal difference there already after 4 games, and that'll be that 6-1 defeat to Lincoln, who are in the same position as them. In Merseyside, Liverpool all the way down in 4th, but that's because they've got a game in hand like the other ones. Their results so far: 4-0, 4-1, 5-0, no losses. But Everton are top because they've played all their games and won them all, and played one more than Liverpool. A 7-0 win over Liverland in their last game too. In Norfolk, Norwich are top on goal difference ahead of Kings Lynn, while in Northamptonshire, Northampton, they're in second behind Sileby Rangers, or Sileby Rangers. I don't actually know how to pronounce that one. But that's only because they got a game in hand, just like the other ones. Northumberland, Morpeth are top by 1 point ahead of Blythe Spartans, the team that are currently conquering Arsenal in the Empire League. While Nottinghamshire, Mansfield lead the way on goal difference ahead of, well, not even on goal difference, on goals scored ahead of Nottingham Forest. In Oxfordshire, Oxford top on goal difference ahead of Thame, so the same top 2 there. In Shropshire, this one's looking a bit weird with Shrewsbury. They've already drawn 2 games and have dropped enough points for Whitchurch and Hormond to go ahead of it. And Hormond have a game in hand as well. They've got 100% records so far. Who are the draws against? TNS and so the 2 other big teams in the area. TNS in 9th. That's not good for them. Admittedly, there's only 3 or 4 games played, but still. In Somerset, Weston-super-Mare top on 10 points. Yeovil, the reigning champions, down in 3rd on 7. They've got a draw against Clevedon, which has put them down a bit. Staffordshire, the champions and the runners-up, both with a game in hand. And if those game in hand were won, they may be in 2nd, because Tamworth running away with it with a quite good goal difference at the moment. In Suffolk, Ipswich, Needham Market and AFC Sudbury all on 12 points, but Ipswich lead the way on goals scored. Surrey, we have Dorking Wanderers top with on goal difference ahead of Leatherhead and Woking. Decent enough there. It's all to play for, really. Sussex, Brighton have that game in hand, which if they win, they will go top of the league, unless Crawley don't win theirs, because Crawley have a game in hand and are top with 9 points, with a 100% record. Brighton have already drawn a game with Bognor Regis. We're moving over to Tyne and Wear. Newcastle have that game in hand, but that's a big goal difference already. 7-0 against Dunstan, 8-0 against Washington, 4-0 against Jarrow. Newcastle in championship form already. Sunderland down in 5th, but they've also got the same points and record, really, just not as many goals. Warwickshire, Nuneaton are finally ahead of Stratford in something. It took them a season, but they've done it, but it's only the start of the season, and only Stratford spent big in the transfer window, although they did lose one of their players as well. However, Nuneaton are top on goal difference for the time being. In the West Midlands, Solihull Moors top with 12 points, 100% record. Coventry in 2nd, Wolves 3rd, Aston Villa 4th, West Brom 5th. It's all very close because it's not many games played, but if we can see who Coventry dropped points to, it was Birmingham, and Wolves haven't dropped points yet because they've just got a game in hand, as with Aston Villa and West Brom. Birmingham all the way down in 7th. Who was their loss against? Aston Villa in the Second City derby. Wiltshire, Swindon all the way down in 11th, but they've literally played 1 game, which was a win. I imagine once they've caught up, they'll probably be doing okay. Swindon Supermarine are holding their place for the time being. Worcestershire, Kidderminster already clearing that by 3 points. I imagine it will stay that way for a while. Yorkshire, Leeds United, the reigning champions who bought so many big players, are top with a 100% record and 0 goals conceded against any big teams. 2-0 win over Middlesbrough there, and a 3-0 win over Harrogate, and Harrogate are probably a big enough team. Well, actually compared to the rest of the division, maybe not, I don't know. But there you go, that's how all the Premier Divisions are looking. We can see what the, I would say we can see the FA Cup draw, but there's literally hundreds of matches being played in the current round, so it'd be quite hard to see the big teams. but just to give you an idea of how many matches there are in the second round, where all the big teams enter. Yeah, there's a few, isn't there? Quite a few. Every top division team is in this competition. Man City, Blackpool. There you go. That's unlucky for Blackpool. They could have had Didcot. They could have had Chipstead, but they drew out Manchester City at the Etihad. Also got West Ham and Crystal Palace got Didcot. So probably Crystal Palace going through to the next round. Hashtag United got promoted into the top division, and they've got the Bishop Auckland in the FA Cup. I think they had to play in the first round as well. So probably well done to them for making it. Man United playing Penrith, so an easy draw for them. And I believe Liverpool were near the bottom. If you want to see who Liverpool were playing, so many matches. Hinkley, my local team, playing Welwyn Garden City. Leicester v Barwell in a derby, in a Leicestershire derby. And Meow Indeed, my cat has decided to make a comment on there. Either way, you can see there's a lot of matches. Now, there's going to be a few edits now while we have a look and see what those other random big transfers were. This could be interesting. So, in the time between in the time since the last video, Bristol City forked out £40 million for John Swift of Reading. That is silly money, which we do love on this game as part of this scenario. They also spent £26.5 million on Kevin Wimmer of Stoke, or Wimmer. But yeah, next edit. Peterborough United went on a bit of a spending spree, £33.5 million on Stoke City's Julian Ngoy, £17.25 million on Middlesbrough's Sam Stubbs, and another Middlesbrough player for £12 million, Marcus Brown. Although Mohamed Issa, which is one of their better players, left for Dinamo Zagreb to go play in one of the European competitions for £10.25 million. So they recouped a bit of that money back. On the last video, we knew that Derby County had spent a fair bit on an Ajax player and a Runcorn player, but they've also added a few more to that. Nathaniel Chalabar from Watford for £21 million, and Wesley Hoot of Southampton for £13.25 million. Plus, I don't know if Chancel Mbemba had joined them by then. I think they might have already been on the last one. But yeah, they've been flashing the cash too. Devon. Now this is just insane money for Torquay United, who in real life are in the National League. They've spent £34 million on Joe Haig of Chelsea, who I've never heard of. So that's silly money, and we love it. Colchester United, they spent big, 16 million, could go to 19.5 million for Middlesbrough's Ainsley Pears. Never heard of him, but Colchester must rate him. Middlesbrough are probably raking it in a bit in this transfer window, because they definitely have had a few players sold for decent money. In Greater London, it's more of a selling thing. Chelsea losing a bunch of their players. Andreas Christensen to PSG for £52 million, which is just stupid because he's rubbish. Jorginho to PSG as well for £49.5 million. Wilfred Zaha has also joined PSG for £46.5 million. So PSG, they've been spending the money. On top of that, is there any other signings that weren't on the last video? We'll just have a quick look. Arsenal signed Matt Miazga from Chelsea for £24 million, and Christian Teo had already joined them, as we know. Fran Villalba of Birmingham joined Brentford for £24 million. El Neni's left Arsenal for £22 million. I think the rest were pretty much on the last one. Yeah, it looks like the rest were on the last one. Mustafi left for Southampton. Southampton, I thought they wanted to win their title. Okay, this one is probably the maddest of the summer transfer window transfers. Emi Buendia of Norwich City joining Manchester United for £84 million. That's more than the prize money they had. So the prize money they had, they've spent way too much on Emi Buendia. They've also bought Nathan Ake from Bournemouth for 58 million, James Ward-Prowse from Southampton for 49 million, and John McGinn from Aston Villa for 49 million. So they have spent well over 200 million in this transfer window, and that is just silly. They also bought Rafael Leao from AC Milan too. Yes, that's and Man City bought Ndidi as well from Leicester for 61 million. Let's not forget that, to go with Pellegrini. So the Manchester clubs have been spending good. Watford have been spending big as well, 27 million on Connor Cody from Wolves. They also bought Ross Barkley from Chelsea for 26.5 million. I'm not sure if that one was on the last video or not, but yeah, they've been spending. Another Middlesbrough player to go for a decent amount, Marcus Tavernier, has gone to Gillingham for 22 million, alongside Ross Sykes, Paul Smythe, Toby Sibic and Drew Yearwood, all for for 4 million and over. That's a lot of money coming out of Gillingham there. So Norwich, they made a lot of money for Emi Buendia. What did they spend it on? Anthony Knockaert from Brighton, Adam Lallana from Liverpool, Danny Drinkwater from Chelsea, I believe that one was on the last video, Juan Cazares from Manchester United, and Foussini Diabate from Leicester, plus David Raya from Brentford. Did they sign David Luiz in the end? Yes, they did. 6.75 million. That transfer went through. I don't know if that's a good transfer or not, but it's great for us because it's a crazy transfer. He'd never join Norwich in real life. This one is another bit of a mental one. £46 million from Nottingham Forest to sign Tyrese Campbell from Stoke City, and they spent another 25.5 million on another Stoke player, Tom Edwards. Lovely, crazy money. They also bought Bernardo from Brighton for 11.75 million. Apparently PSG weren't just buying players from London, they also bought Florin Andone from Brighton for 31.5 million. Juventus also bought a Brighton player, David Propper, went for 30.5 million. Both of those could rise to 40 million and 39 million respectively, so Brighton have done well, and as you can see they made a few signings themselves with the money they made. Two of them were on the last video, but they've also added Mario Pasalic. I don't know who he is, but he's a Chelsea, I'm assuming he's a Chelsea reserve, but that one went for 14 million. So on the last video, when we were a month away from the end of the transfer window, Leeds were the big spenders in the Yorkshire Premier Division, buying up a whole squad pretty much. Now, since then, the biggest transfer in Yorkshire to a team in Yorkshire is Meritan Shabani leaving Wolves to Hull for 18.75 million. So they have been splashing their cash too. But as you can see, once we scroll down, we can see there's a lot of Leeds in the two part of it. Although Huddersfield are in there, 13.75 million for Matt Clark of Brighton. And there you have it. We'll leave it there for the time being. And next time, we're going to have a look at a few other things, such as, so we're going to skip to the 1st of November, just like we did last time. We can see the Club World Cup draw. We can see how the Champions League and Brexit Champions League and Empire League and stuff like that are doing. We'll also have a look at how the World Cup qualifiers are going. Plus a very quick flick through the 40 top tier divisions in England, plus the important ones in Wales and Scotland. And yeah, so until then, rock on and like and subscribe.